Good morning, y'all. So I'm checking in for another quick update. And if you haven't noticed, I hope you did, because I sure the hell did. I had some good sleep last night. I'm going to suggest to everybody that they get some good sleep and take care of themselves, because we are in some difficult times. And being in these difficult times, I am deeply trying to take good care of myself and be kind to myself and be gentle with myself when I am not confronting the bullshit that we are waist deep in. This is not going to let up. And I'm always mindful that when we communicate, it should not always be bad news. I hate people that come around and every time they come, they got a problem, because eventually they are the problem. Well, I ain't gonna say today is totally different, but I am reminding you to do something to take care of yourself. For me, that meant I needed to get some serious restful sleep, so I'm thankful for that. If you don't know, I am restoring and moving back into my house. Not to be here in the States permanently, but my home here in the States I had rented out, and so I'm moving back in. So I have little supplies here, but I do have my coffee maker. You know that. And anywho, I wanted to remind everybody to do something to take care of yourself, because we've got a long road in front of us. And by that, I'm not specifically speaking of protesting. And I continue to tell you, I'm not a protest organizer, but I am a serious resistor. Serious resistor. And so, although I've stood with the protesters, and I still stand with protesting and resisting more than even protesting, because something about protesting makes me feel like it's a little bit like petitioning. Yeah, I ain't always with that. But do something to take care of yourself. You know, get out in some green space. Ground yourself. If you're not sure how to ground yourself, go walk barefoot in grass. That's a good way to do it. I know this sounds super silly simple, but that shit works. It really works. Go walk barefoot in grass. Not that thorny grass either. And not that fake grass. Real grass. You know, pay attention to some birds. It's still late spring. You know, we're just cooking up on summer. You got a lot of wildlife that's still out here making shit happen for themselves. I'm just noticing a piece of equipment that didn't get put away last night. At anywho, I wanted to check in with you all to say that. And I also wanted to say, more than anything, you know, this time we living in has been so serious. I thought about this last night. I almost feel like we should lift the ban on white folks saying nigga. Because we done seen so many white niggas this past week that I feel like I done called some white folks niggas. Like, I feel like, damn it. I mean, I don't feel like, but I'm real close to feeling like, but I don't feel like. They ought to be able to damn say that shit, because the shit just applies. It just fucking applies. Now, I want to be clear. I almost feel like, but I don't feel like. But we real close to that shit. So that could be something that's coming out of all of this. But in all seriousness, I want you to be mindful, everyone who's watching this. I want every family even more serious than we had to be for this coronavirus, COVID-19. I want y'all to be even more serious than that. I want you to take care of your old people, your young people, and your sick people. Your old people, your young people, and your sick people. And I want all of those people to get on board, not only taking care of themselves, but being part of the solution. Being prepared to help where help is needed when it cannot be on the front line. Now, here's the deal. The resistors have been playing defense. I know it looks like they're playing offense because so many people have been protesting. But that's really not offense. Trump is pushing for all these governors. Not that they punk asses ain't doing this shit themselves, because they want to do it. But it's coming. Basically, I'm telling you, one way or another, it's coming. Trump is pushing for martial law across the country. he's pushing for the enactment of the National Guard. Now, I personally feel like the National Guard, every military, all military personnel needs to stop acting like mindless robots and fucking think. Just think. This is not a time for strictly following orders. You need to think. These are your families. These are the people who you come from. Because the military is full of poor, the children of poor families all over the world. That's who's in the militaries. So the reality is, you need to talk to those family members that you have who are active military and former military. I take counsel with my brother who is a vet. I take counsel with the vets in my life because I want to know exactly what I'm dealing with. It would not be wise not to do that. Number one. Number two, not only do you want to know what you're dealing with, you want to talk to the people who you can speak to help them to see that they are us and we are them. Not that that's going to lessen the blow, but somebody got to turn the lights on in there. Like, are you kidding me? They're asking you to shoot civilians in your own country. You shouldn't be willing to shoot and kill civilians, generally speaking. But them niggas do that all the time. But this is a whole nother level. This is a deeper depth than we've seen before. Or at least than I've seen before. Not that I've seen it all. But it's a deeper depth than we've seen before. So we need to talk about that. Everybody who hears this video, you need to get in touch with your family members who are active military and have a serious conversation. It's beyond time for that shit. Civilians, I want you to be prepared and mindful. The National Guard is going to occupy your neighborhood. They're going to occupy your neighborhood. And when they come in, you're going to have to be prepared for what they bring with them. They're going to bring a shitstorm of pain. That's the only thing they're bringing. They're going to call it all kind of other stuff. They're trying to bring order. They're trying to enforce order or reestablish. They're bringing a shitstorm of pain. They are going to have zero conversations. They're going to bring a lot of pain. And so that means this has to really mean something to you. You cannot possibly be taking this stand because it is a trend. You need to really be taking a stand because you recognize what is right and you insist you are going to live free. You will not live and die a slave. We have a worthwhile struggle, a worthwhile fight. This fight is worth fighting. And everybody who is alive today needs to fight it for the sake of the children that are coming from them in the future. I have to fight this not just for my current children. I have to fight this for my grandchildren. I have to fight this for my grandchildren's grandchildren. I cannot lay down. I should not have inherited this fight. You should not have inherited this fight. Our children's children should not inherit this fight. So I'm encouraging you to find the way that your black ass can get involved. Find the way that you can get involved. Some of you think you have white allies. I think that's awesome. That's awesome. The fact of the matter is, I don't. The closest thing I have to white friendships come by proxy of someone else. They are either married to someone I care about or something of that nature. And those are so far removed, I can't say that they're of any help at all. As a matter of fact, I can guarantee you they ain't no help on this ground. So, those of you who think you have white allies, I can tell you now there's a limit to what benefit those allies can be. Allies cannot negotiate on our behalf. They cannot tell you how you need to negotiate. While they are useful in the presence of your protest, they are not helpful guiding your protest. That is still taking privilege. So I want to point that out. And I just wanted to check in with everybody and encourage you to do something to take care of yourself. Like, really take care of yourself. Because if I didn't have the 3+ years outside of this pressure cooker, I would not have clear headspace to be able to deal with this kind of constant trauma. And while there are people who are struggling, being triggered and traumatized over and over again, looking at the news and dealing with the reality of what is, turn that shit off, shake that shit off, and get your head in the game. You're going to have to cry later. I know that sounds insensitive. I know it sounds like I'm not caring about your mental health. That's not true. That's not true. What I'm telling you is you can't cry on the battlefield. You have to do that shit in shifts. So you step away and take time to try to replenish yourself and get yourself together, compose yourself, recenter yourself, do all that shit. But quit trying to bury your head in the fucking sand talking about, I just can't take it up. am just such an empath, and I just get triggered by this, and I just over and over my anxiety is through the roof. That's fucking great. But put your internal Susan away and get your shit together. Get your shit together. We don't have time for that. Because the biggest thing I'm going to tell you, none of us get the luxury of living under the blanket of protection that any of the rest of us are providing. That's not fair. You get your ass up. Everybody can do something. Even if you can't be on the front line, even if you can't resist, even if you're scared to get arrested, even if you're scared to cuss out the police, even if you're scared to throw rocks and start fires, which I ain't opposed to that shit either. That shit works. But even if you can't do that, you can make phone calls. Hell, some of y'all still vote. You can go do that shit. In Indiana, I think you can do it today. So do the shit that you think you can do, but don't just do that. Do something outside of your funky ass comfort zone. Time out for that. And then after you do that, go take a walk in some grass, barefoot, not with your shoes on. And find some clothes you ain't scared to get dirty. And stop going on dates at them damn protests. I saw people showing up at dates and shit in these little sundresses, holding hands like you going on a damn summer evening walk. Nigga, is you crazy? Talk to your daughters. If she got some guy dragging her in there totally ill-prepared, y'all need to have a conversation. Do you know I had to send a sister home yesterday who showed up fucking pregnant? Are you playing? Girl, no. So I had to send her home and her little 12-year-old child. But I hope she made it home safe. Y'all take care of yourself. I'm taking care of mine. And one of the things I'm going to do to take care of myself is make beans and cornbread today. I just feel like it. What you going to do? Love y'all. Peace.